Justin walks in and plays every instrument. And this is Justin with the swoop. Remember, he used to do the swoop back in the day.
How many songs have you and Bieber written together?
It's a lot of songs, probably like 500. Congratulations, you have the #1 song in the world.
Wow.
We're just jamming. Like, this is the first time I meet Justin. If you go back and listen to the song, when it starts out, that's literally Justin playing on his piano at his house that is screen recorded from the iPhone.
Crazy.
My whole life, I knew I was going to be something special. I knew all of this when I was like 14. However, it didn't happen at 14. It didn't happen at 20. Being broke at times, all of that didn't mean anything in that moment.
When you heard that song, did you know it was going to be a smash? Well, super excited for today specifically because we have the one and only Harv.
Let's go.
Songwriter, producer, artist, perfect pitch master. Super excited to be able to talk to you because I think your story is really unique and it allows people to see music in a new way, and I think people are not only going to relate to it, but they're going to find it fascinating. So, first of all, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Come on, thank you for having me. Come on.
For anyone out there who may not know who you are, what are some of the songs that they would know you from?
Off the top, my very first placement that I been blessed to be a part of was Gucci Mane, Lemonade.
Crazy.
Shout out to Bangladesh. I worked on that with Bangladesh, and that was like my first placement. And a lot of people, because it was so long ago, don't even know that I worked on that. So that's one. Justin Bieber's I'm gonna go on a Justin run right quick.
Yeah.
So Justin's Christmas album, Fa La La featuring Boyz II Men. The Believe album, Just Like Them, Fairy Tale featuring Jaden Smith. Didn't work on purpose. Kind of bummed that I didn't, but whatever. Changes. Forever available, at least for now. And then, of course, on Justice, I did Peaches.
Amazing. I'm really excited to get into everything that you just talked about. But first, I think it's important to go back to the beginning. How did this all start for you when it comes to music, being a kid?
Yeah, so I come from a musical family. My grandmother she was a classically trained opera singer, and my mom is a pianist. She's the minister of music back home at the
Crazy.
church that I grew up in. Like, she still does that today. So music was always a thing in our family. Like, my brothers played, my dad, my uncles, we all kind of play instruments. So the holidays we would have jam sessions or after church jam sessions, and like it was always just a part of growing up. It was sports, music, pianos around the house, playing with toys, and then messing with the piano was something I did growing up. So I want to say music kind of chose me more so than I chose to do music. And my first instrument was cello. I started playing the cello at 9 years old, and which was cool. I missed the cello.
What made you pick up the cello?
So my laziness. So I was 9 years old in the 4th grade, and growing up in Kansas in the 4th grade, this is when you can get elective classes, right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
same thing.
Yeah,
actually,
So
it's funny.
You can either do band or orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
So my laziness, I was just I'm gonna take my time and go sign up for band. So I waited to the last minute. I get to the sheet, it's filled up. There's no more slots for band, right? Next to it is orchestra. It's 20 slots open. No kid wanted to play orchestra growing up, right? So I was just I need to do something. So whatever, I just put my name on the orchestra side, and me and my best friend Derek, we've been best friends since we were 5. I saw his name over there too, so all right, cool. I guess I'll do orchestra, and I ended up falling in love with it. I was first chair all city, 7th and 8th grade.
Crazy.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. I used to do competitions and everything on the cello. Yeah, I actually missed the cello. I'm glad I said that because I'm gonna go buy one.
Yeah,
practicing.
You should. Cello is an instrument that one of my favorite songs is Secrets, and that's such a big part of the song. So
yeah.
I want to hear that in more records.
Yeah, our next interview, you come in, I was gonna
100%. We'll make that happen.
Yeah.
So you start out with cello, but you also I honestly feel like you probably play almost every instrument, right?
Yeah.
What was the order in terms of instruments?
So, because I was raised in church, I feel like the first instrument everybody plays in church is the drums, because that's what keeps the rhythm in church going. So I started out playing drums, and then cello, of course. And my older brother, his main instrument was piano, and we wanted to jam together, so I was just like, okay, I want to play the piano, but no, and I don't want to play the drums. Like I like the drums, but I don't necessarily want to play the drums. So I was like, what can I play? So I picked up the bass. And I picked up the bass around like 11, 12 years old, and that became my main instrument.
Sick.
And from the bass, I started playing guitar because they're kind of similar.
Hmm.
And when I went to college, I studied piano, and then that's when I got good on piano.
Do you gravitate towards one instrument specifically now, or you feel most comfortable on?
If I'm jamming, like when I perform with Justin,
Uh-huh.
I play the bass and synth bass, which is piano. But um, yeah, well, I gravitate more the bass. I'm probably most comfortable there, but I can do them all. But the bass is
100%.
what you know what I'm saying, grab to.
Now, a lot of people are incredibly talented musicians, but you have many different sides of you when it comes to music, and one of those sides is singing, songwriting, and production. When did songwriting and production start for you?
It started when I couldn't find any good writers to write to the music I was making, or just not being impressed with, and that sounds so arrogant, but just not being impressed with like a songwriter. Like I'll have a session, like back in the day, like early on, like you know when you sign like a pub deal, they'll put you with like the writers that they signed and stuff like that, and I wasn't getting success that way. I was just like, okay, until I started writing it myself, like, oh, okay, like this is what I'm trying to say, and so like that made me sharpen my writing skills just because I just felt like the songs were better when I was more involved in the song opposed to me just giving the songwriter a beat and be like, here, just you go right to it. And I'm not being a part of the creative process.
Now, you get your first placement with Bangladesh and Lemonade.
Yep.
How long of a time period was that when you started playing bass? Because you was the placement bass on
Yeah,
Lemonade?
yeah, yeah. It's bass and some the piano stuff too on there. Yeah, the dee 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 dee. Yeah, yeah.
Were there songs in between that helped you become more confident enough to produce that song and like be in the room in that sense? And was it a lot of
Um,
work to get to that point, or was it
well,
pretty?
I was always producing and sharpening my skills, you know, and so I mean, I think I was preparing myself even when I was like 16 to get to that place. Like
Mhm.
I remember when like Fruity Loops first came out. Like I grabbed that, you know, and I was learning that in high school and like producing like R&B hip hop songs for like all my friends that wanted to rap back then. So like I think everything that I was doing from playing the cello at 9, you know, playing in orchestra or playing at church, like all of that like built me up to get to Lemonade. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just
100%.
the work that I put in my teenage years. Like when I got to Atlanta, I was already ready for whatever because I prepared myself, you know what I'm saying, in high school.
How many beats and songs did you say you made until you had Lemonade?
Probably a million. Like, you know,
Hey,
I mean, yeah, it's like I got a cajillion songs now. Like you never stop. Like a
100%.
creator will always create. Like I'm and you can't think like, oh, I made this one beat and this is gonna be the one. Like
Definitely.
you got to make a million. Like you know, like I was just having a conversation earlier. Like right now, I'm in a super high creative space to where I'm just creating, and you never know. Like the last one that I make may be the next Peaches or the next whatever. You know what I'm saying?
100%. You also do other stuff as well. You're in marching band. You do other pieces like that.
Yeah, I was actually the drum major in high school too.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
At what point does the next part of the story become after Lemonade?
yeah. So right after Lemonade, I was doing a lot of sessions in Atlanta, and where I found success was um working with producers that are amazing at like making the drums and like the 808s because Atlanta that's a heavy sound. So like I found success in just coming in and putting a little melodic stuff on top and
Mm,
meshing with that. So I did that after Lemonade. I kind of bounced around, did that, and I after probably like 6 months or so, I got a call to work with this Canadian kid, you know. And they're like, you know, this guy Scooter Braun, you know, these are all new names at the time, you
for
know.
sure.
Well, not new, but like not like huge as they are now. So This guy Scooter Braun signed this artist named Justin. He's bringing him to Atlanta. They want to put a band around him, some young guys. Are you available to come and do like a soft audition? They just want to, meet you. And came to the audition. Justin walks in and plays every instrument, like off the
Crazy.
back. Like he dapped you up. And this is Justin with the swoop. Remember, he used to do the swoop back in the day. So he comes in, right? Jumps on the piano, ding-a-ling-ling-ling, jumps on the drums, bangs out on the drums for like 10 minutes, grabs a guitar, bangs out on a guitar, and like we're just jamming. Like this is the first time I meet Justin, and we're like jamming, and like I just saw his musical talent, and they're like, all right, cool, you're in the band now. And then that's how I just became the bass player at that time. This is the My World tour, like 2010 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I just became the bass player.
Within a year, you write with him as well. What
Yeah.
was the process like to go from an instrumentalist to songwriter and producer? Was that a hard transition to make?
Yeah, it is. It is a hard transition because just because you are an amazing musician doesn't mean you're going to be an amazing producer. Like you still have to understand sonics. You still have to know that in producing, less is more. Being a musician, more is better. The better you can play, the more the bigger you are. Like if you're the best pianist, everybody's gonna praise you. If you're the best bassist, we love that. But like in producing, those flat seven, minor diminished, augmented, like nine sevens, like that may not sound good. We just need the triads, and sometimes as a musician, you want to add all of those colorful chords and like 10 finger chords. It's like every finger is dedicated to a note, but like in producing, you just may need 2 fingers or 3 finger chords, and like with the right patch, like it sounds crazy. So it's like transitioning from being a musician to a producer is one of those. It's like you really got to kind of dumb yourself down just a baby hair just to make it make sense. If that makes any sense.
Simple.
Yeah. Simplify yourself.
A lot of instrumentalists, I feel like, try to go as like complex as possible.
Yeah.
A lot of guitarists sometimes, and like they always do these crazy guitar solos. But
Yeah.
the best guitarists to work with are the ones that just have like really awesome melodies.
Right.
That's a
Because
great point.
yeah, because some musicians think that everybody thinks like a musician. No, you're like 5% of the population. The other 95 doesn't understand everything you just played. They just want to feel something. So the thing is, I always make somebody feel like even when I make music, like I just want what I'm saying, the listener to feel happy, sad, angry, whatever, just feel anything.
As someone who's worked with an artist for so long, such as Bieber, there had to been a connection right away.
Yeah.
What was it like working with him back then versus now?
Um. Well, I just been blessed to see his whole transition just from me being around him. Like back then, he was still trying to figure out who he is.
For sure.
He had a lot of things he had to learn musically and just as a young boy becoming a man. So I kind of saw that whole transition. So like back then, it was just like kind of all over the place, and you can grab when you're in his little time. Like you got to take advantage of it because he's gonna be gone. He's like a little fly, like all over the place back then. But it's like now he's like super locked in, man. He's like he's really at a good place. So it's like to where we can sit down and like actually talk about the song, talk about life, talk about like he's like family. You know what I'm saying? He's like
For
my
sure.
brother. So it's like we sit down and really like have like really good conversations, and then that ends up turning into a song.
You guys both came up together in a way.
Yeah.
Did
Like we're
you
forever part of each other's story. You know what I'm saying?
100%?
Yeah, we respect that, and we cherish that too.
So you are his bassist in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
You work your way to become his producer and songwriter in 2011
Yep.
on the Christmas album.
Yep.
And then next up is music director, right?
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
Okay, so going from bassist to producer, like so for me, the goal was always to be a producer. That was my goal since I was 14. Like I just didn't want to be a bass player or a musician. I wanted to be a producer. But in life, sometimes if you're smart, you have to understand that the way in may not be, you know what I'm saying? Like had I been like, oh, I'm not gonna go play bass with him because I want to be a producer. Like I wouldn't have made that relationship that allowed me to be a producer later. And like some people and musicians and producers, they want the success now, like instead of understanding like, oh, this is my end.
For
Let me
sure.
go in as a bass player, piano player, whatever. and see what happens. So for me, it always the end goal was to be a producer. So even when I, was playing bass with him, we'll be in rehearsal. I'll go off to the corner, put my headphones on, and make a beat. It's like I always kept my producer skills like or producer time equal with my live playing time. Like I always split the difference. So after a while, as you see, he was like, "Yo, what are you doing?" Like he see me with headphones on, like, "Yo, bro, what are you doing? Like, what are you listening to?" Like. I was like, "Oh, I'm a producer too." Like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "All right, let me hear something." So I started letting him hear beats, and so that became into like after a show, we'll go back to his bus and start writing, and that led to the Fa La La song, which is on his Christmas album, Under the Mistletoe, which is our first song together that we did. That our first record featuring Boys to Men,
Which
and
is crazy, by the way.
yeah, thank you,
Did you
thank you.
work with Boys to Men directly,
I
or was it?
wish, I
Okay.
wish. No, so me and a very talented writer named Adonis wrote that song, and yeah, Justin came in and cut it, and then next thing I know, Scooter was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get Boys to Men on it." I said, "Crazy," but
That
I
is
know I
insane.
wish, yeah, I wish I was in the room with them.
Fa La La happens, and more songs are created at that point.
Hmm.
Then you become music director.
Yep.
What does music director mean?
So, music directors, it's a very important job. Basically, you arrange the live show. And when I say arrange, that means put like the extra hits in it, the band intros, outros, um, like orchestra hits, like dance breaks. Anytime you see them go out and do a dance break, like I had to like produce that and add that into the show. Like, so let's say a song like Peaches. I take the stems from the actual studio session, like the vocals, the music, the whole Pro 2 session, and then I add certain things to enhance it. So when we present it in a live place, it it just elevates the song just a little bit. And so that's one part, and then the other part is hiring the musicians, like the other band members, making sure the front of house guy is on point, the monitor guy, the techs, the crew. It's a very it's a very important kind of strenuous job,
Definitely.
especially for artists of his magnitude, because there's so many moving parts. Like when we tour, it's like just you know the band and people on stage alone is probably like 40 people that
Wow.
what I'm saying, that I kind of
For sure.
have to communicate with.
Were there a lot of people that came up with you guys as well that are like still a part of the band and
Oh,
like
for sure. So once I became, what I'm saying, music director, I basically hired all my friends. So the band is Styx Taylor, you know what I'm saying, which is the best drummer in the world. Jules the Wolf guitars, probably one of the again best guitars. I'm gonna say this because these are all my friends. The best guitarists in the world. O'Neal on keys, and then so I've been with Justin since 2010, but DJ Tay James has been with Justin since like the very very beginning, like
2009.
2009 or
Crazy.
something. So he's the
Like
DJ of
one
the band.
time,
Yeah,
like
yeah. So like yeah. So me and Tay, we've been there and Nick Demore, which is the creative designer. Um, but yeah, we've been there the longest. So and we've created a band called We the Band out of just Justin's band. We're actually working on an album right now. That sounds
amazing.
crazy. Yeah. So it's like yeah, I don't even want to spoil it, but it's
Yeah,
fire.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
You started music director in 2015, is that right?
Yep. Doing the Purpose album.
Which was one of like the biggest albums
Yep.
ever.
Yep.
Was it a difficult process to go from live performing as bassist to doing music director?
It wasn't a difficult process. It was just like when you're the music director, like so the other tours, like all I cared about was like when it came to the live space, all I cared about was playing bass and killing. Like
Mm-hmm.
every time I got a chance to like solo or do something, like I'm taking it. Like you know what I'm saying? Because this is all I had to think about. Once I became, you know what I'm saying, the MD, it's not about me anymore. It's not about me playing bass. It's about the big picture. Like how is this drum fill sounding? How's this guitar sound? Well, how's that delay, that reverb? I'll tell Jules find a different patch. I'll tell Sticks I like that feel, but do something different. I'll tell O'Neal like don't put the orchestra hits here, or change that voicing of that chord. Don't you know what I'm saying? Don't play the nine because the nine ain't in the chord of the song. Play, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's so many different like variables that go in being a music director that that transition is like, okay, now I'll finally get to play bass. Like after I do all of that, okay, dang, what am I gonna play now? Like so it's like understanding that it's not about me and playing bass anymore. It's about the big picture.
Being on tour with Bieber and then all of your friends that you hired, are there any like fun stories?
Oh, we have a million. We have a million fun stories. Like we have our own like how we talk. Like if like how you're talking to me. If you're around Justin, he kind of we have the same kind of like lingo and
Sick.
just energy because we've been around each other so long.
That's
So plenty of fun stories. Like we just recently went to the Maldives and we was just out there just hanging and laughing and just having a good time, man. It's tons of stories.
any
I can't even start on one because it's like a billion.
totally understand. So, Purpose Tour music director, you work as music director, and then how long were you music director for
Since
Bieber?
since 2015 till now.
Oh, amazing! That's a lot to take on as well as
Yeah,
like doing a bunch of other
yeah,
pieces.
yeah,
Then the next piece I see is that you write with Pooh Bear in
yep,
2019. Yes, please,
yeah.
which is a sick song. Is that one of the pieces that brings you back to say, "Hey, I'm gonna start writing again"? Because there was like a piece in time where you are kind of doing your own thing. What brought you back to that team?
I think so. Like yeah. So the time where you're saying, I think so. Right after the believe, um, moment and then purpose, I think everybody was kind of in a space of like doing their own thing. Like even Justin,
100%.
Justin was kind of he was kind of MIA around that time. Like he wasn't as accessible as before. So I think everybody that was around kind of I was like, oh okay, cool. Like this is the time that we get to kind of explore different things. So around that time, I met my wife around that time. So like we were working on so many projects together. I think we did Seven Streeters #1 R&B song Before I Do around that time.
Crazy.
I was working on my wife's album at around that time. I started exploring my own artistry
Yeah.
around that time. So I was kind of in a pocket of like I mean, I know Justin's always going to be my brother, so I'm never in a rush to like work with him anyway because that's my brother. So it's like, okay, let me figure out who I am. So that moment was that's what that was. And then I always knew Pooh Bear and worked with Pooh Bear. And around I believe 2018, 19, we began working kind of close, and that's when Yes Please happened, and 60 other songs. Like me and Pooh Bear probably have like 100 songs together.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
So you come back to the team, then you get on three more songs
Mm-hmm.
with Available,
Yep.
Forever, at least for now.
Yep.
How many songs have you and Bieber's team kind of written together by this point, would you say? Around 2020?
Or
Because it's
just
like
yeah, just me and Justin. Yeah, we probably it's a lot of songs. Probably like 500.
for someone who is as big of an artist as Bieber, getting a placement on one of like the songs to like fit the vibe and everything like that, is that a difficult process to make happen, especially like we were talking about even earlier how you deciding to make the trip to LA or make the move down to LA versus being in
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Yep.
Was that is that difficult to
For sure. Especially back then, because I think where music is now is very relationship based. Like every artist that's a main like all your A-list artists right now that's anybody, they have a producer or writer that they're comfortable with. That
an engineer?
engineer, yeah, they have their team. Like let's rewind maybe 5 to 8 years ago, it wasn't like that. It was submit a song to the
Mm-hmm.
artist. Like it wasn't very relationship like one on one. You had to submit a song. So like yeah, getting on a Bieber album back in the day was like, and for me, and I was around him. You know what I'm saying? It was like you get one cut, you're like yes, like you know what I'm saying? Because you're competing with everybody trying to get on the album. And this is young Justin, so he's not in control of, the songs that he's picking or, the sound of the album. So yeah, it was definitely like a process to get on a Bieber cut back in the day. It still is. It still is. I'm just blessed that our relationship is grown, and like I said, he's more mature now to where he knows exactly what and how he wants to sound, and then the right people are in place now too, so it makes it easier.
Amazing. Let's talk about the song that kind of catapulted you into the spotlight as well as a songwriter and producer, and that would be Peaches.
Bam bam.
I would love to hear, because let me tell you, basically the one of the big goals I have in creating this is showing the behind the scenes of music, telling the stories that people don't necessarily get to hear.
Right.
What was the whole process of making that song?
Yeah, so Peaches is a product of social media. It's a product of the technology of now. So like we made Peaches during the pandemic, like smack middle of it. You know what I'm saying? So like going to the studio with your friends and writing a song, that's not happening around this time. It's not like how it used to be where it's 20 people in the room or 6 people in the room writing a song. So this is not happening at this time. So however, we were still hanging out. Like we would just go shoot basketball every Sunday, like all the boys, like Justin, like me, Tay, Nick, Demora, and then it would just rotate other people as it, every other week. So this particular Sunday, like we shoot ball, all right, we dap up, everybody go home, right? I'm at home on the couch scrolling through Instagram, and I see Justin playing the piano, and he's like, you know what I'm saying, da da da, like singing the melody
Hmm.
and playing the piano, and I said, fuck, this is fire. So I just immediately hit the fire emoji, right? So that little 8 bar clip of him playing the piano gets screen recorded, right? I go to the studio, make a whole song around that clip, right? And then I had a co-producer Shindo who's on the record with me as well. So I call him like, "Yo, bro, meet me at the studio." I take the clip, produce a whole song around just the 8 bar clip, right? I send it to Justin. He's like, "Yo, this is..." So that was Sunday. Monday, I send it to Justin. He was like, "Yo, this is fire." He goes to the studio by himself, records the verse, sends it back to me. So then now what I took the 8 bar loop, I now make it into a hook and a verse. That's all we have. So in this is all happening in one day.
That's
So I'm
crazy.
at the studio, right? I have the hook and the verse of Peaches. He FaceTimes me, Justin. We pray for like 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So we pray for like 30 minutes, and then we just talking. Not 30 minutes, probably like 15 minutes.
Hmm.
30 minutes is a long time for to pray, but it's like 15 minutes. So then like we start talking about like ideas, and he was just like, "Yo, like I think I'm gonna get Giveon to jump on this," because around this time like Giveon was coming around. Like when we have like hangouts, like Giveon to come around and like hang out with us. So he was kind of like already in sync with, you know what I'm saying, our vibe and our energy. So he's like, "I'm gonna get Giveon to do it." I was like, "I bet, whatever." This is like 2 p.m. in the middle of the day,
This is all in one day, right?
all in one day. This is Monday, right? So like, cool. I like, all right, whatever, Justin. So I hang up. I go upstairs, like start another idea, whatever. By like 3:30, I get a Giveon verse. Like that was like, I don't know if like Giveon had this verse sitting in his pocket, and he was just like, "Oh, I got a verse." Like that was the fastest verse I've ever seen in my life. So Give writes the verse, sends it to Justin. Justin sends it to me. I get Give's vocals. I throw it into my session. So now I got a verse. I got a hook, Justin's verse, and now Giveon, right? So I'm like, oh, this is fire, right? So that's how the song was for probably like a week or
Hmm.
so. So it was just Justin, Giveon, and then I did the piano synth solo at the end, and that's how the song was gonna be. So then like,
By the way, the synth solo, crazy
thank you,
on there.
thank you,
That was
yeah,
just like improvised, right?
yeah, yeah. So like I grew up listening to like Earth, Wind, and Fire, and like I grew up around like musicians who actually play and they put that in music. You know what I'm saying? So like if you notice, like in a lot of songs that I do now, there's some sort of solo or something going on in the background just to like, I don't know. I just want to lead the charge of like, young musicians that want to, play instruments and produce. Like, and that inspired me at 16. So like, I just want to inspire, when somebody hears that at 16, like, dang, he really took a piano solo at the end of this big old Billboard #1 song. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I soloed all the way out. So, yeah. So that was the song for like a week, and then Justin FaceTimes me again. He really A&R'd this song. Justin did. He doesn't get credit for it, but he really A&R'd Peaches. I was just there to kind of like help see the idea through. But yeah, he called me like, yo, I want to get Daniel. I've always wanted to work with Daniel Caesar. He was like, I
Yeah.
always want to work with him, and I think he'll be fire on it, like a third verse. I said, bro, it's your world. Like, so he,
Shout out My World,
yeah, right,
2010.
right, exactly. So he gets Daniel on it, and then I get the verse. I had to kind of rearrange it a little bit, um, to see who went first, second, last, and then I think I kind of restructured Daniel's verse as well, and the rest is history. That's Peaches.
It sounds like the whole story is it starts off from the Instagram video of Bieber.
Yep, which is the intro to the song. If you go back and listen to the song when it starts off, that's literally Justin playing on his piano, um, at his house, that is screen recorded from the iPhone
Crazy.
that is thrown into Ableton.
And that's directly in that the
Ableton.
DAW.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Technology is crazy. Like we made that song off of Instagram and a screen recording.
Was this the? Because I remember I saw a video of Bieber and the piano. Was that the one of him singing the actual words of the
Yes.
song?
Yeah.
Because I saw there were a bunch of people, like a bunch of like crazy names on that song, like Andrew Watt,
Yep.
Louis Bell,
Yep. Yep.
like it. Another song that kind of reminded me similar of it is Where Are You Now?
Yep.
And then possibly even Sorry, like starting off with like piano chords that's like the actual idea of the song is there and that's produced around it.
Right.
Did they have that like a writing session where Bieber just like came up with that on his own, or
Yeah.
was
So
he in the
I
studio
think
with them?
I think the so it came from a hang. I believe they were hanging one night, all those guys, and they came up with maybe the melody, and then Justin came up with the chords. I didn't even know this at the time. So they came up with the I think the chord structure or something like that, in a jam. Like, like everybody gets around and jam, and they came up with it. And so then Justin, when he did the Instagram thing, I didn't know it had came from a previous jam. So I just took it and made a whole song
That's
that sounds
crazy.
totally different from the jam that they had.
So their goal wasn't even to like make this into a hit song. They just like made that. Justin decided, hey, I'm gonna record this. You're
Yeah.
like, wait, this is so
Yeah,
much better than an Instagram
I don't even
video.
think Justin was gonna record it. I just think it was a jam, and it was something that they all kind of like jammed and created, and then Justin was just like on Instagram playing it, and I was just like, no, fuck that, this is a song. So I took it. Excuse me, sorry, but I'm saying I took that and made it a song.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Technology sounds like it transformed that. Did now just to be sure here, Bieber sent that to Giveon.
yeah.
They weren't in the same room. He
No.
just responds back with a verse.
Yep,
A week later, Daniel Caesar
yep,
pops on it.
yep. So I had to send open verses. Like I'll send it and then like open verse, and then they'll just send it back.
Was it pretty much like the first people he thought of? That's who got on it, or were there any other people?
No, that was it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, at
Uh,
least that's how he told me. Like, yeah, it was Giveon and Daniel Caesar, like always. So,
when you heard that song, did you know it was gonna be a smash?
um, I knew it was special because I knew nothing sounded like that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that it was gonna take off like that. Like, like when it came out, right? So the night before the album came out, I'm just chilling. I wake up to like text messages, like 20 text messages, but the one that I remember the most is Scooter Braun texting me saying, congratulations, you have the #1 song in the world.
Wow,
And I was just like, that's
that's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah, like I still like that text message was crazy to see. So like I knew the song was gonna be awesome, and I knew it was fire, and it didn't sound like anything, and it's special, it's timeless. But I didn't know it was gonna be the #1 song in the world
How quickly did that song just explode?
that day. That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
I woke up, I went to sleep with the number billion song in the world or nothing, and then I woke up with the #1 song in the world. Like it was like that fast, and just like everything changed after that. Like my life changed immediately, like that. I woke up and I was a whole different person, if that makes sense.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
amazing. Yeah,
Like
for
in the
sure.
industry or just whatever. It's like, and it was like a really amazing feeling because I've been like just talking. You know what I'm saying? I've been around so long, and I put in a lot of hours and sacrificed a lot of friendships, relationships, and I feel like I don't want to say pay my dues or anything, but I just feel like I put in a lot of work.
Hmm.
And in that moment, it was just like all of that made sense. Like all of my no's, like letdowns, failures, like being broke at times, like not, you know what I'm saying? Not having connections, not having songs, not being where I want to be, where I thought I should be. Like all of that didn't mean anything in that moment. Like I saw that text, like you got the number one song in the world. I was like, oh, okay, great.
Then everything changed.
Everything changed.
One of the great things about Peaches, I think, is it's most people can relate to it because it's a worldwide song.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the hook is so smart.
yeah.
What does the song Peaches mean to you?
Um, Literally what you said. I've said this before in interviews. Like one of the main components of why that song is so special is because it unifies everybody. It's like I get my peaches out in Georgia. Georgia peach. You took it to the South. I get my light from the source. It's from God. I took my girl up to the North. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay. If you from the North, Canada, New York, you can gravitate to that. I get my weed from California. It's like, okay, everybody from LA, Cali, or anybody who smokes weed can attach to that.
100%.
So you just unify like different parts of the globe, different parts of like people's um, everyday lifestyle, and it's easy to sing along. You know what
Very
I'm saying?
catchy too.
Catchy, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
The drum beat of that was programmed. Did you guys
Yeah,
you
yeah. That was a
mentioned it? Did you
program.
guys come
Yeah,
up with that
yeah.
together?
Those are program drums. Yeah, yeah.
One of the interesting things I've been seeing in like the biggest songs right now is this like four on the floor kind of beat, but that's a different kind of setup. What made you guys decide to go with that?
It really just fit the groove. It's like at first it was four. It was
Okay.
doos, doons, doons, dun, 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 and I was just like, nah, 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 nah. Like, put the kick on one and three. You know what I'm saying? Like get a little swing, let it sit back a little bit. So
The song you can groove to.
yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
grew too. Like yeah, like simplify. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Make it simple, and it just worked.
This won't be coming out for a while until you have some stuff going on. Is
Yeah,
there
yeah.
anything you're like really excited about?
Yes. So I'm gonna start releasing. I'm working on my artist project. I just signed a single deal with Virgin Capital and Range.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So I'm getting ready to drop a single with Kyle, Super Duper Kyle. Yeah,
Hey.
he's my brother, man, talented guy. So we might be cousins on the low. We have the same last name, and
Wait, really?
yeah, yeah. So
That's crazy.
yes, I might need to ask like one of my grandmas and figure it out. But yeah, so I'm getting ready to drop a song with him called Losses that I'm super excited about. Um, and then I have two songs to follow that up with. So I'm just yeah, I'm really gearing into, creating my brand, building my brand as an artist and also as a producer. Like I have, Justice's next album. Um almost finished with that now. So like and we got some crazy records on there. So and I'm producing pretty much a big chunk of a lot of your favorite artists right now. So I have so many things in the works right now.
Amazing. Is there a different process that happens when you write for yourself versus others?
Yeah, it's a little different because I think when I'm writing for myself, it's a little bit easier because I don't have to think like, would this person say that? I don't have to like tap into that person's vein or that person's life. When I'm writing for myself, I know who I am. I know what I want to say. I know what I want to feel. I know how I want other people to feel.
Definitely.
So it's a little bit easier. You know what I'm saying?
As someone who kind of has been working as an instrumentalist, working behind the scenes, being a producer and songwriter, has it been difficult to kind of put other things on the back burner to say, hey, like this is my time now. Like I need to focus on myself at this point.
Yeah.
What's that transition been like?
You say, has it been difficult?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely been difficult because I'm such a I'm a team player.
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? I love like helping others and being a part of like, other people's journeys, whether that's, being in the band, whether that's, working with Justin, or anything for that matter. So it it's definitely a moment right now into where I'm like, okay, well, I just need to put more time into myself, focus on myself because I feel like I have so much to give to, you know what I'm saying, to music, just me as an artist and my brand and everything. So it's definitely a transition of, um, yeah, just, I hate to say it, kind of putting yourself first or putting myself first right now.
It's important.
Yeah.
Going even back, starting off as the bassist, working a music director, then producer songwriter, now releasing your own music. What is a piece of advice you have for anyone out there that wants to follow a dream or even wants to get into the music industry?
Yeah. I mean, the advice that I would say is just honestly believe in yourself. And I think anybody that is a creator, if you have the gift to create and to be a visionary, you see yourself in the future, like what you want to do and what you want to accomplish. Don't get caught up on the now, the physical, because that's when people start getting discouraged. Like my whole life, I knew I was going to be something special. I knew I was going to produce a number one. I knew I was going to work on an artist project. I knew all of this when I was like 14.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt this when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
However, it didn't happen at 14. It didn't happen at 20. It didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? But you have to always know, like, I'm going to do this. Like, I believe in myself so much, no matter what my physical present, my physical time is, I'm going to accomplish my goal at some point of time in life. And if you have that, like, just sureness and you believe in yourself, it don't matter how many times you fail, how many times somebody doesn't like your music, how many times somebody says no, how many weird situations you get put in. Once you know like the main goal and you believe in yourself and you know that, you know what I'm saying, you have something to give to the world, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? It's your own personal belief in yourself. Everything else is just obstacles that you gotta, overcome.
As someone who has a hit in the world of like the internet age, a lot of people we've talked to got it a lot in like the radio
Yeah.
side of it. Is there a different thought process when it comes to making songs for more of the internet side of things? Because one of the places that Peaches really popped off was on TikTok.
Right.
What's your thoughts on TikTok's impact on the music industry?
It's a huge impact. It changed the format of arranging a song. So it's like radio back then when you're producing and writing a radio hit, you had time to, structure a song. You came in with the verse, little pre-chorus,
Mm-hmm.
then you hit them with the hook. You know what I'm saying? You kind of build them up because you got time. Like now you don't have time. Like you got 15 seconds, if that, to catch, you know what I'm saying, the listener who's listening to a song on TikTok's ear. So a lot of songs as now are coming straight in with the hook. Like if you listen to any song that's a big song on TikTok or anything, the hook is first.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't.
Catchiest part, or
Yeah,
even
yeah.
like Lizzo, "About Damn Time." That's the second verse. Like,
Right. Well, that's that right there. That's like a unicorn. That
yeah,
song
yeah,
right there.
for sure.
But outside of that, every other song is like the hook first. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you come in with the hook immediately, it grabs the ear, and then we'll go to the verse, and then we do a pre-hook, and then come back to the hook. So I think like, you know what I'm saying, writing and creating in the internet space now is you have to get the payoff sooner. Like you have to get to the thought, the big part of the song, the most catchy, trendy part of the song initially, because that's really what the listener's trying to get. They got 15 seconds. If not, they scroll into the next thing. So you got to grab them quick.
So, one of the earlier interviews that we did was with Julia Michaels, and I brought her something in a bag, and she named the segment called "What's in the Bag." And I've been doing this to all the people we've talked to. So
Okay.
I
I've
wanted
been
to,
wondering, you know what? It's funny. I saw that green bag and like you've been carrying this green bag. I'm like, what is in
like,
this
what
green
is in
bag?
this bag?
What is it?
So I wanted to say thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate it. And congratulations on all the success. Excited
Oh
to see
man.
what's in store for you next.
Appreciate that, man. What do I get to look? What
Yeah, of
is it?
course,
Okay.
100%.
Hey. Come on, a can of peaches and they're organic. What else? You got a card. Come on. And a peach. Of course.
So I also got frozen peaches, but I thought that would not be very smart to carry in a bag.
Yeah, it would have melted
Yeah,
by
exactly.
now. Yeah, it would have
exactly.
failed. Smart man.
Well, thank you so much
Thank you,
for
man. Appreciate it.
being
This
on
is
it,
cool.
and excited for the next one where you're gonna bring out the cello.
Bam. Cello. I'm gonna do a whole concerto.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Well, thanks, Harv,
Yep.
and We'll see you next time on Behind the Wall.
Bam. Thank you, bro.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.